Hello, fellow translators. So today I wanted to talk to you about an article, and this article was written by Yonis Buzi. I'm sorry, every time I say your name, I feel like I'm butchering it. But he's a translator, and that I've been in touch with mostly on LinkedIn for a while. And he's an English to Albanian translator. And he recently wrote an article that he allowed me to look over before, to edit it and whatnot. I found it very interesting. And I'll link obviously to the article here below. But this article talks about machines in translation, but not machine translation, because that's what everyone's been talking about. But he talks about something which I think will start becoming bigger and bigger. And this is project management automation, I should say. And project management automation is something that I've been seeing a lot more of, and I'm sure we're going to keep seeing more and more of. And so what is this, first of all? Project management automation is when LSPs, when translation agencies, rather than using someone who works there at the agency to decide which translator to give which translation to and stuff like that, they have a program that does it for them. And there are quite a few issues with this, and this is what he gets into. And by the way, I'm going to talk a bit about this. I'm not saying my views necessarily coincide 100% with Yonis's, but I think they do. But just saying these are my points of view. So if you have a problem with them, then you have a problem with my points of view. I'm just saying. I'll link to his article, and you can see what he has to say. And also because he says it, I'm sure a lot better than I will because I'm already rambling. But basically the issue with this is that when you have a computer deciding which translator gets what, you have a lot of things like many times it's basically going to be speed, and and he talks about this. But basically, they'll post this job is available, and then the first person to apply gets the job. And he's like, hold up, if I receive a request, I'm going to look over it first of all. And he was saying how he looked over it, tried to make sure that he'd be able to handle it, and then wrote back, says, yes, I can handle it. And he was already too late. He's like, I really doubt that the person who actually accepted took the time to look over and was sure they could handle it. So what's the end result there? Well, you're going to get worse quality translations. And also, what about when you work with agencies for a while, and you have been working them for a while, and every now and then you've gone the extra mile? A lot of the agencies that I work with, that I still work with, I know the people there, and I've worked with them quite a bit. In fact, I've worked with people in certain agencies who then moved to other agencies, and I kept working with them there. And you create this rapport, this relationship, and they kind of know what I can handle and what I can't, what I'm good at, what I'm not. And I know, what they specialize in and what they expect and what they know and what they don't know and stuff like that. And this helps a lot when we're trying to deal with certain jobs that need to be done and stuff. But when you have process automation, when you have this project management automation, you have none of that. And so what do you have? You just have the person who replies the quickest will get the job. Even if I've gone the extra mile and helped them out for years, none of that counts anymore. It's just whoever gets there quickest. So this will cause, I think, a deterioration in quality of translation and in relations between translators and project managers and the translation agencies. And this is really bad because translation, we're knowledge workers. We translators are knowledge workers, and we kind of should be treated as such rather than just kind of cogs in the machine. And I'm not trying to say this from a hippie point of view, like no person is a cog in a machine, which is true. But, you would never go to a lawyer and be like, okay, the first lawyer to email me back is the one I will hire for my defense. Of course not. You're going to research into it. Most people for, getting a haircut, you do more research than that, And when you have translations, this is something pretty important. Look, I don't deal with the most important translations out there. I do legal and financial. And, but I can already tell you legal and financial, if there are mistakes there, you have situations where people are going to get fired. And I don't mean the translators or translation agency. I mean people who've been working on these contracts, on these financials, on this business documentation. If something gets messed up in the translation and it doesn't get caught, someone's going to get fired. And because you have millions of dollars at stake, you have lawsuits at stake, you have a lot of business going on, and these can be bad. But like I said, ours isn't even the most important. What about people doing medical translations? What about people working with refugees? What about people working with all types of government programs and stuff that deal with people's lives all the time? These are really important things. And when you just assign these to the first person available, to the lowest common denominator, if you will, it can be really dangerous. And so I think we're going to see a lot of growth with these project management automation tools, because I've been seeing quite a bit of it coming, and I think it's going to become kind of the in thing. But I think we're going to see a lot of problems as well, because yeah, people are going to just rely on them way too much, and suddenly they're going to be stuck with problems and issues with translations that have gone badly and stuff like that. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think we need to keep in mind. Look, I don't think the solution is necessarily to say we don't need any programs or any automation at all, because in a way that's kind of the way of the future, right? And there's always going to be technology. There's going to be more technology, and technology can find a way to make people's lives easier. But and I understand that you try to keep costs down as a big agency, and that's what you do. But at a certain point, it's going to create issues, and that will increase costs at the end of the day. In fact, they can increase them a lot. It's going to have to be some sort of a balance where maybe you're able to automate certain things in the back end, but then when it comes actually time face to face or picking the translator, the final decision, it's a human who does it, or I don't know, whatever it might be. It's going to have to be some sort of solution along those lines, I think, because we're going to see more and more issues. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out and discuss it a bit. Kudos to Yonis Buzzi. Once again, apologies for the way I pronounce your name, but it's because, for bringing this up, and because I think it is something that we're going to see more and more of, and I think it's going to be a very important thing for us translators. I think it's going to affect all types of freelancers, because quite frankly, I think all types of agencies dealing with freelancers are going to see more of this, and I think that's why you see more of these programs, because a lot more people are dealing with freelance professionals now. And but yeah, for us in terms of translation and in terms of translation management, I think we're going to see a lot more of this, and I think it's going to create a lot more issues and problems in the near future, and so we should keep an eye out for it. We as translators should just keep in mind that very often that's what's happening behind the scenes. And maybe every now and then, if we think it is an issue with an agency that we work with, maybe bring it up with them and say, hey, look, I think you might risk getting bad quality, and that could, that could really mess up. That could cost you a lot of money down the line. Speak their language, and this could cost you a lot down the line. And so you might want to look into that. I don't know. Obviously, a judgment call, but see how you feel with agencies you work with, because I do think it'll come up more and more. I'll link to the article. It's a lot more organized than the way I put it, and he has main points. I think 5 main points he talks about. Yeah, five ways in which project management automation will affect translation quality is the title. So please feel free to check it out. It's and give it a read, and give him a thumbs up. And that's pretty much it. I will talk to you in the next video. Okay, thanks. Bye. Savedum.